Hey, what's up guys? Best in West here, and in today's video, we're going to be challenging Toshi to a best of 5 series in the Sinister Cup. Now, if you guys aren't up to date with what's been happening on Twitter, I've been saying that Dusclops is not a good ghost in the Sinister Cup. Now, I know Sinister Cup happened last month and we're already on Ferocious Cup, but at the same time, I needed to back up my claim that Dusclops is not that good. He's using Dusclops, I'm not using Dusclops, and pretty much it's just a way to settle it once and for all. Is Dusclops good? So without further ado, let's get to the battles. As you can see, I have our teams on the bottom left of the screen right there. The top team is Toshi's, the bottom team is mine. We have very similar teams. We're both running double tank and we're both running a Slowbro, which is kind of unusual somewhat. The differences are, instead of Dusclops, I am running a Haunter. Instead of a Medicham, I am running a Poliwrath. And instead of a Mawile, I am running an Alolan Marowak. So those are the differences between our teams. Now, you'll find out that his Slowbro is not running the same moveset as I am. So yeah, but let's get right into the battles and see how we do. For this first battle, I decide to what do I decide to do? I decide to lead off with Steelix, I think, and I bring in Haunter and Alolan Marowak. The Haunter Alolan Marowak combination kind of really works together really well, because one of the main counters on his team to my Haunter is Mawile, and Mawile gets countered by Alolan Marowak because my Alolan Marowak is running Fire Spin, so it's able to take out that it's able to take out that Mawile, even though it is taking super effective damage from those bites. So let's get into the battles. Alright, so jumping right in, I lead off with Steelix, he leads off with Slowbro. If I remember correctly, last time I battled him, he was running Confusion, so it looks like he is because he switched into his Dusclops. So what I'm trying to do at this point is make him waste his energy or make him burn a shield. So he's going to get a Fire Punch off right here. He burns his energy and I go ahead and switch into Haunter. Haunter is going to be dealing super effective damage with those Shadow Claws. So now I know that I have to shield my Haunter. So there's no question about that. He gets a Shadow Punch off, but I block it. I'm going to get my own Shadow Punch off, and I know he's going to block it if he wants to keep this Dusclops alive. My Shadow Punch is good. He decides to let that go. I get one more Shadow Claw, and he brings in the next Pokemon, Slowbro with Confusion. I try to get that Shadow Punch off. I was a little slow on pushing it, so it didn't go off. I bring Steelix back out, get a couple more Dragon Tails off, and get this Crunch off. This is going to deal super effective damage if he does not block. He does decide to block that one. I get my second Crunch off on him, and this is going to deal a significant amount of damage if he doesn't block it, and he lets that go. So I'm going to go ahead and Dragon Tail him. I have one more shield. I decide to let this go though, let my Steelix go down because I have a Alolan Marowak. He decides to switch right away into his Steelix. We both have one shield, but I'm going to charge up to a Shadow Ball and go ahead. He goes ahead and gets his Crunch off first. I let this go because I knew it wasn't going to knock me out. I'm going to go ahead and get a couple more Fire Spins off, make sure that he does get that extra Dragon Tail in, but I go ahead and get this this Bone Club off. He decides to block it. I'm going to get this second one off. Nope, not in time. I have to block this Crunch, otherwise my Alolan Marowak is going to faint. But I do get this Bone Club off, and this should faint his Steelix, I believe. Nope, never mind. I wanted to farm it a little bit more. I didn't want him to get another Crunch off, so I had to burn this this energy. And his Slowbro had barely any health left, and I'm able to Fire Spin him down. GG. Yeah, so that first battle was crazy intense. Very, very close. Toshi definitely Dusclops, like I said, Dusclops just isn't that good. Like, it didn't do that much damage to me. What Dusclops helped Toshi do was, it did burn a shield, but like, I knocked out Dusclops very fast, and in the end, the bad lead matchup came back around anyways, right? Like, he was still stuck with his Confusion Slowbro against my Steelix. So what I'm saying is Dusclops doesn't flip matches, it kind of just delays the matchup. But yeah, first round goes to me, so 1 for anti-Dusclops. Let's go to the second battle. Going into the second battle, I think I forgot exactly what I did. Let's see what I do. Alright, jumping into the battle, I lead off with Steelix again. This time he leads off with Bastiodon. So again, this is a positive matchup for me. He does decide to switch out into his Dusclops again. He's going to charge a little bit more energy than I thought he would. I'm going to get this Crunch off, hoping to burn a shield. If he does decide to burn that shield, he charges up even more energy, and he goes ahead and lets go his first Fire Punch. I'm going to let this first Fire Punch go. I'm going to try to get to this Crunch, and now he's probably going to let this one go. Yep. And so he's going to get a second Fire Punch off. I'm going to let this second Fire Punch go because I know I can still take it. Gonna go ahead and switch straight into my Haunter. He's gonna get a Shadow Punch off. I am going to block this, but I am going to farm up on this Dusclops right here. So no need to throw any charge moves. So we're both down 1 shield. My Steelix is low on health, but my Haunter is pretty much full on energy. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this Shadow Ball off right now. And most Bastiodons don't shield Shadow Ball, so that deals a significant amount of damage. Goes ahead and switches into his Slowbro. Again, I don't get that Shadow Punch off. That's so unfortunate. But nonetheless, I do have Steelix. Even though Steelix is low on life, I should be able to get to this Crunch. I do, because those Confusions are dealing not very effective damage to my Steelix. Get that Crunch off, deal super effective damage. He decided not to block it. That's kind of, if he blocked it, I probably would have been in bad condition. He goes ahead, luckily for me, he does decide to let go of that energy, and I bring in a Lowland Marowak. He has Bastiodon. Now these smackdowns are gonna hurt, but I'm just gonna Bone Club him to death and as much as I can. Yeah, he's gonna get a charge move right here. I do have a shield, luckily, so Stone Edge, block it, fire spin. In hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have thrown this Bone Club. I don't think I needed to. I could just fire spin him down, would have saved 1 extra fast move. But GG Toshi. Right now I am 2-0 against Toshi. I only need 1 more to prove that Dusclops is not the best ghost type in the Sinister Cup. Well, in this situation at least, right? Like, I believe Haunter is a far superior ghost type in this cup, and Dusclops again doesn't provide the same type of pressure on your opponent. Like, I just showed you, like, when he switched in Dusclops, I had no worry of Dusclops versus Steelix, right? Like, I knew I could still put up a fight against Steelix even though he switched in his Dusclops to my Steelix, right? Usually when you switch in a Pokemon against your opponent, usually it has some kind of positive matchup. It's pretty neutral still between Dusclops and Steelix, and I had some energy built up from getting like 1 or 2 fast attacks on the previous Pokemon. So I think that's why I don't like Dusclops. It feels very safe, not only for the person that's using it, but for the person going against it. You know that you can probably survive 1 charged attack. You can probably like get off your charge move. It's not scary, right? Like, you have time to think versus like a Haunter or I don't know, something else. Like, it's dealing more damage, it always has that threat of a nuke that can knock out your Pokemon, right? So getting into his third battle, I think I decide to go with my patented Slowbro, Haunter, Alolan Marowak. So at this point, I've run Haunter and Alolan Marowak twice. I just need to, so I think a Battler as skilled as Toshi, he knows, he can sense patterns, right? All great battlers start to learn tendencies of their opponents, and so you'll see how this goes. So I lead off with Slowbro, he leads off with Medicham. This is actually a really good matchup for me. I'm doing neutral damage, he's going to be dealing not very effective damage. He sends out his own Slowbro. I'm actually not 100% sure how this matchup goes. I am dealing not very effective damage, but I think it's more damage, more consistent damage than his confusions. So go ahead and get that first Psychic off. He's going to get a charge move off right here, and it might be Ice Beam. Yeah, it's Ice Beam, and so I'm just gonna go back and forth. I'm gonna get this second Psychic off, see if he decides to block it. He decides to let that go, so now I have a Slowbro. He brings in his Dusclops. He's gonna farm this down. I'm gonna let this get farmed down just because I don't want to switch lock any of my Pokemon. I am going to bring in my own Haunter. My Haunter is going to have to block these Shadow Punches though. So block the first Shadow Punch. Dusclops does have a decent amount of energy built up, so but I am able to get this Shadow Punch off, and I know he's going to block this because he has a ton of energy built up. So he's going to get his own Shadow Punch off, and I believe I blocked this one as well. Yep. So get a couple more. I didn't get that Shadow Punch off. He had enough energy to get another Shadow Punch off before me. This is going to knock out my Haunter. I am going to bring in my Alolan Marowak. So Alolan Marowak versus Medicham. This is a positive matchup, but he does have the shield advantage, and it is going to be pretty critical for me. Get this Psychic off. I'm going to go ahead and get this Bone Club off. Now, if he shields it, that's great. If he doesn't, it's going to deal decent amount and some damage still. So I'm going to charge up to a Shadow Ball, get another Bone Club off. Now, hopefully he does shield this. He does shield it, and I'm trying to get to a Shadow Ball, but look at how much health he has left. I think a Bone Club would have knocked him out, and I kicked myself so hard after this battle because I could have Bone Clubbed him, and it would have knocked out his Medicham. His I forgot what Pokemon's in the back, but it has very little. His Dusclops has very little health left. I believe Fire Spins would have knocked out his Dusclops. So lessons learned. Let's move on. So right now it is 2-1. Anti-Dusclops in the lead. Let's see how it goes for the fourth battle. So Toshi definitely is proving to be a great opponent, and he's using Dusclops very well. And if you've noticed, we're both trying to use Haunter, Alolan Marowak, and he's trying to use Dusclops because that was the whole idea, right? To try to prove which is the better ghost. In my opinion, Haunter is the best ghost, and I believe Alolan Marowak is the second best ghost. But it's the fourth round. He kind of notices a trend. I've used Haunter and Alolan Marowak 3 times in a row now. And he knows that I have Slowbro. So he's going to lead off with Mawile, which is a counter to Slowbro, a pretty hard counter to Slowbro too, because even though Slowbro is doing neutral damage to Mawile, Mawile is dealing super effective damage to Slowbro. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Jumping into the battle, I switch straight into my Alolan Marowak, which is a counter to Mawile, like I mentioned. So he sends out Bastiodon, and I'm going to go ahead and get this Bone Club off. Bone Club is actually a more efficient move against Bastiodon than Shadow Ball. So the idea is just to Bone Club him to Oblivion, or try to draw some shields, something. So get this second Bone Club off. And I'm trying to get this next Bone Club off, and I am able to get it off. Now, I believe he's going to shield it because he has a lot of energy, and if he doesn't shield it, it's going to faint. Okay, so it faints. I have very little health left on my Lowland Marowak. He gets 1 or 2 hexes. Not too much energy. I believe I send in my Haunter to just... He has energy built up. I'm able to get a couple Shadow Claws off, but he's going to get his Shadow Punch off before I am. I'm going to go ahead and hit this Shadow Punch against this Mawile. I believe he shields this because he knows he needs to protect that Mawile. I'm going to switch into my Slowbro. At this point, I feel like he has the advantage. This Power-Up Punch is going to boost those bites way harder, and it's gonna be really close. He's able to knock out my Slowbro, and watch this. Yeah, it's good. Power-Up Punch is not gonna deal very much damage. I'm able to knock out that Mawile, but look at how close this is. I was so close to a Shadow Ball. I think that was my only chance because I wasn't going to be able to get 2 Shadow Punches off. Okay, so you just saw that 4th battle. Toshi was able to pull it off with great prediction. He predicted that I was going to lead. I was going to use the same back 2, which is Haunter and a Lowland Marowak, which if Mawile leads against a Slowbro, that's very devastating for my strategy, right? Because all 3 of those Pokemon are weak to Mawile. So even though a Lowland Marowak can counter Mawile, it's very close, right? Like if things don't line up, if Mawile's powered up at all, then a Lowland Marowak will fall. But yeah, he predicted that I'm gonna do something like that, and he guessed correctly. He was able to pull it off. Let's go to the last battle. This one will decide who wins this series. I thought I was going to take this hands down after the first 2 battles, and the 3rd battle I think I could have, if I didn't make that mistake, I may have been able to take that, but you never know. In hindsight, everything's 2020. We have to move forward to the next battle, right? So this last battle, so I knew that he knew what I was using in the back 2, a Haunter, a Lowland Marowak. So something that I decided to do was run double tank. So a lot of his Pokemon are actually weak to tanks, right? So Slowbro is running Confusion, that's weak to Steel. Like Steel's gonna be resisting those confusions. Dusclops, it gets walled by Bastiodon. Mawile, it gets beat by Steelix and Bastiodon. Steelix, it's a tank, it's neutral to another Steelix. Bastiodon is a tank, it's neutral to other tanks and will lose to a Steelix. And then you have Medicham, which is why I'm bringing Haunter, right? Haunter is a pretty hard counter to Medicham as long as you are able to block that Psychic, or if you're able to get Medicham with no shields, those Shadow Claws are going to be dealing tons of damage. So yeah, let's see how I do. I decide to run double tank and Haunter. This is for all the marbles. Let's see how it goes. Alright, so I lead off with Steelix, he leads off with Slowbro. So again, his Slowbro is running Confusion, so this is a positive matchup for me. He decides to switch into Dusclops. So this is an okay matchup, and I go ahead and get this Crunch off. If he shields it, that's fine. If he doesn't, that's also fine. Now, I switch straight into Bastiodon because Bastiodon will wall Dusclops. I don't have to throw a charge move. I don't have to do anything, right? other than SmackDown, but he is getting these fire punches off, and this is why Dusclops is good. It doesn't get it got completely walled by Bastiodon. It's just he's able to consistently get these fire punches off. So at this point, I may have been able to get a charge move off, but he's low enough health where I didn't feel like it was necessary to, and I didn't want, if he had a Medicham, I didn't want him to farm energy. He was able to run that switch clock out with those consistent fire punches, and I am able to get a Stone Edge off, and I'm going to get a second Stone Edge off on this Slowbro, which is huge. So he's either gonna have to block or he's going to have to let his Slowbro go, and he lets his Slowbro go. So a Confusion user out, he's gonna bring his Mawile in and farm down my Steelix. That's my Bastiodon. Ouch. So he has enough energy to get a power up punch off, and I send in Steelix. He's gonna get this power up punch off. It's gonna deal super effective damage, but power up punch does not do that much damage, so that's okay. These bites are gonna do work though, like significant amount of damage. So I'm gonna try to get this crunch off. He does get another power up punch off, and at this point I know I need Steelix, so I'm gonna block this second power up punch, get this crunch off right here, and I'm hoping to burn the shield, and he does, knowing that he knows that I need to use this Steelix to kill this Mawile. He sends out Dusclops, and I go ahead and knock out his Dusclops, bring in Haunter. These bites are chunking. Look at how much health I had left, and I got this Shadow Punch off. And this is going to knock out that Mawile. Oh my god. That was so close. So close. GG's, Toshi. GG's. Like I mentioned, even Haunter doesn't get walled by anything. Even you saw when I used Shadow Ball against that Bastiodon, it dealt significant damage. Probably 40% of its health was drained by one Shadow Ball. Even against hard counters such as Mawile, like, I guess Mawile is not a hard counter, but even against counters such as Mawile, Haunter deals significant damage no matter what. Neutral, heavy hitting damage, right? Although those bites did crunch down on my Haunter at the end, I was able to deal enough damage to knock out that Mawile, which is all I needed, right? So I hope that proves that Dusclops is okay. I kind of changed my tone a little bit, right? Dusclops is not bad. Dusclops is okay. I still believe that Alolan Marowak and Haunter have more to offer, especially in the Sinister Cup, than Dusclops. But Dusclops definitely has its role, and if used correctly, as Toshi just demonstrated, it can be a very pivotal teammate on your group of 6, right? So I know Sinister Cup is far long past us and there's large tournaments to come, but I hope this was kind of just like a entertaining series, something that I wanted to just share with you guys, something that Toshi and I was like felt it'd be fun to just revisit this. We both have done a decent amount of theory crafting and battling already, and so you see how the different strategies within the cup go against each other in terms of Haunter versus Dusclops. We both brought each of them in every single battle, and it came down to the very last HP, I think. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure you hit that thumbs up. If you aren't already subscribed, please make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I am doing Ferocious Cup stuff, but I don't have much to offer you guys because I'm still trying to figure out the meta. It's a very confusing meta, but there's a lot of other content creators coming up with strategies, theories, and stuff like that. I'm still trying to figure out what's the best one for me, so that's why I haven't been coming out with any Ferocious Cup videos. Also, I'm planning a large tournament locally in the Bay Area next week on the 17th. So if you're in the area, please make sure you stop by, participate. It's going to be one of the largest tournaments the Bay Area has held outside of regionals. So if you can stop by, please do. That's pretty much it for today's video though. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope that it was entertaining, because this is not relevant at all anymore. Maybe in the future if ghost types come back and dark types are banned again. But I do believe Haunter is the superior ghost type Pokemon, but Dusclops is okay. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. That's pretty much it for today's video. Thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, this is Best in West. I'll catch you guys later.